What's up YouTube? Valentin the Mad here, and today I have a special video to mark 1 year of Gore Reviews. The discussion will be about which game out of those I reviewed so far did the best job in every category, what made it stand out, and what other games also did an exceptional job. The idea for this video was suggested by one of the channel's viewers. He prefers to be anonymous, but I'll just say, keep 'em coming. Your ideas are awesome. When it comes to body damage, the most notable games in my opinion are Killing Floor 2 and Soldier of Fortune 2. It's almost a tie between both of them, because the functionality is very similar at the core, and there actually are a few things that SOF2 does better. But nevertheless, the king of the category is Killing Floor 2. So what do we have? 2 points of amputation for each limb at the moment. It used to be 3, hope it will get back to that. Technically dynamic head damage, we'll get to that soon. Several variations of torso destruction and wound decals. What really makes the dismemberment in Killing Floor 2 stand out is how dynamic it is. A lot of games have many points of amputation, but you often can't dismember things further. When you blow the hand off, the rest of the arm is untouchable. Cut a character in half, he will no longer respond to anything. That is mostly not the case with Killing Floor 2, and this butt is a solid proof of that. Even though Killing Floor 2 is king of the category, it still has its weaknesses. The first one is dynamic head damage that is not used when the character is alive. If you shoot dead characters with the 9mm pistol, you can see it in all its glory, but during the combat itself, the head damage is very limited. Every single time you kill a character with a headshot, the head will simply pop. It makes no sense. The system is there. It looks good. It's functional. Why is it not used? The second body damage related weakness is the big characters. All of the feedback for them while they're alive is wound decals and some very limited head mutilation. The result is enemies that simply feel unresponsive. Wound decals work as decent feedback when you put 3 or 4 of them in a character before he goes down, but when you put 20 or more, it no longer does the job. As for Soldier of Fortune 2, it has 3 points of amputation for each limb, actually dynamic head damage, several torso destruction variations, and wound decals. Just like in Killing Floor 2, the dismemberment is also dynamic, however, if you destroy a part of the torso, the limb will vanish, and the internal organs actually look really bad. It does stop Killing Floor 2 in 2 aspects. The dynamic head damage is actually activated during combat and it has more variations. Also, the wound decals look much gorier in my opinion. Another game with very cool body damage features is Left 4 Dead 2. What you have is 2 points of amputation for each limb, several variations of head damage, bullet wound decals, but most importantly, gory variations mapped across the entire body. The emphasis in Left 4 Dead 2 is on the looks. The body damage is nowhere as dynamic as KF2 or SOF2, but it certainly looks pretty damn awesome. And one more thing this game absolutely aced is the blood splatter around the points of amputation, which is simply perfect. Many games have really cool mechanics when it comes to blood splatter on the environment. You have games with basic but functional spilling, such as Grand Theft Auto 5 or Hatred. You have Overgrowth, where blood comes directly from the wounds. But there is only one game I can think of that really has the coolest functionality when it comes to the spilling, and it is Brutal Doom. Now the looks aren't as pretty as you have in many other games, but the functionality tops everything. You have very generous blood splatter, massive blood pools for dead characters, blood dripping down from ceilings, blood dripping off walls, organs and pieces of the brain scattered around. Also, if you are activating the game through GZ Doom, you have a setting to choose how many decals stay, so you won't be seeing stuff disappear. Brutal Doom's functionality is a great example on how to make the environment aspect absolutely awesome if the game is aiming for exaggerated splatter. Another game with really cool blood splatter is Mortal Kombat 10. The blood spilling is accurate to the drop, it doesn't disappear, and you also have blood pools after finishers. Now I would be much more excited about this type of blood spilling mechanics if you were killing multiple characters and had actual control of the camera view, but for this specific game, the environment aspect is almost as good as it can possibly be, which is a huge deal on its own. This is a tough one. We have plenty of games with really awesome death animations. The first one that comes to mind is Chivalry Medieval Warfare, where the animations are fairly lengthy and brutal. Then you have games that blend animations with physics really well, such as Red Orchestra 2 or Grand Theft Auto 5. Also, some games offer changes of behavior for wounded characters. You have Dead Space series with its functional dismemberment, Hatred or modified GTA 5 for a disabled state, Soldier of Fortune 2 for limping characters. But when I look at the big picture, there is no clear king for this category. Modified GTA 5 comes close for the mix of physics and animations and the permanent disabled state, but I'm looking for something more than that. I'm looking for very long and brutal death animations for characters who lost limbs. Several wounded states in which the character can still fight, but you can clearly see that they're struggling, and a disabled state that can be permanent. I talked about it in depth in a video called A Discussion on Damage Models in Gaming and Response Animations, and you can find the link to it in the description below. When I think of the one game that really nailed it, it's Chivalry Medieval Warfare. The sound aspect has everything I'm looking for, and it just sounds amazing. The response sounds on impact, the sounds of blood being spilled, characters' response sounds when they're hit, the sounds for dying characters, the comments in battle. Now take all of that, go on a populated server, jump in the action, and you'll know exactly why I called it a symphony of brutality in the Gore Review. Another game that did an exceptionally good job in the sound department is Hatred. Antagonists' corny lines aside, the sound aspect is pretty bloody immersive. From the sounds during the executions, to the screams of pain, moans of dying people, the police radio, and the comments of characters. The whole thing sounds dark, brutal, and serious. I think any frequent viewer of the channel will know my answer for that. Somewhat of a tie between Killing Floor 2 and Soldier of Fortune 2. Both games have dynamic and exceptional body damage, and they do a more than solid job in every other aspect. However, each game did a few things better than the other one. As for Soldier of Fortune 2, I think the blood spilling mechanics are a bit better. You have the splatter after hits, blood pools, and functional blood squirting. The animations functionality is also somewhat better in SOF 2. The death animations are significantly longer, and as I mentioned previously, the game has a state of behavior in which wounded characters will be limping. Also, I don't recall bullet sponges in SOF 2, which is a huge plus. As for Killing Floor 2, the aftermath experience is much better. Blood is permanent, and everything else, which includes the amount of bodies, bullet wound decals, and pieces of meat, is configurable. Also, it has that awesome functionality of animations working with physics, but as I mentioned repeatedly, I wish those animations were much longer. So this concludes King of the category for now. Hope it won't take too long until I can make an entirely new list. Personally, I can't wait to see a game that will nail the animations aspect and a game that will offer truly functional multi-layer damage model to finally make fights with damage sponge characters fun. Hope you enjoyed watching King of the category. Let me know how you feel in the comment section, and if you have an awesome idea for a video, feel free to post a suggestion and I will take it into account. You can find the link to the Gore Reviews series in the video description. Until next time.